Okay. So in today's session, we'll try to discuss. We'll try to discuss the answer writing details. Like I have done one session on the YouTube regarding fundamentals of the answer writing. I hope you have gone through those things. So I'm posting questions on the Telegram channel. So for that questions, I'm also posting the synopsis. So this session is intended to provide little bit more analysis about the answer writing, which you guys are doing, what kind of mistakes students are doing in the answer writing. Second thing is, how do we study? How do we study the rest of the content? When we get to know, when we decode the topic in the subtopics and micro topics, then we'll be able to understand. So this session is trying to address that thing. So let me share the screen. Okay. Okay, friends. See, like yesterday, like I have received some of the answers. Like I'm taking first the questions here. See, always in the UPSC, try to bring the analysis more. So this thing is fine. So here the question is, why do we need reasonable restrictions on the fundamental rights, and what are the reasonable restrictions and how are they defined? So there is a debate and argument that the reasonable restrictions are very broadly and vaguely determined. So in such questions, I'm looking for that kind of analysis always. So whenever you see the statement, how you have to bring the analysis. So if the question, like I've discussed in my fundamentals of the answer writing, okay, where it is asking what, mention, list down, then you can ignore the analysis part. But if you get to see the question, how, why these aspects, then definitely you bring the analysis part. In the analysis part, need for the reasonable restrictions, like I have got a couple of answers. See, the content really in both the answers I'm really appreciated. So in this part, the content is handwriting is very good. But here, okay, we don't have to get into the details. The good part is the reasonable restriction this person has not restricted to only freedom of speech and expression. There are reasonable restrictions of every fundamental right. Very good thing is this is the unique part. This question also mentioned the reasonable restrictions that are placed on the armed forces, police forces. Yes, this is the important aspect that you have to show. But this is not the end of the answers. So now, see, like public order, morality, health, when these restrictions are provided, how can they be much more defined? How can that be much more specific? Like say you might be you might have heard about the Shreya Singhal case. Everyone might be knowing the Shreya Singhal case, right? Now this girl said something about the opposition or government at that time regarding the Shiv Sena government. Okay, something she has posted online. Okay, she now like say according to the government, this is beyond the reasonable restrictions. Then this case went to the court. This is called the famous Shreya Singhal case. Then court said you cannot say it is beyond her limits. She said something. Okay, this government is not right and all something. She said. So according to her, according to the Shreya Singhal or the court, this is falling under the freedom of speech and expression. So whatever the limitations that are mentioned here under the Article 19, okay, most of you have mentioned these reasonable restrictions like incitement of the offense, sovereignty, integrity, all these are very broad, right? Decency, morality, how do you define them? So court said it can be defined only on the case-to-case basis. Case-to-case basis. I was looking for this argument. And this reasonable restrictions should always be proportionate. Like in the case of Article 21, your right to privacy is not always supreme, but when you restrict your right to privacy, there should be proportionate goal, or the restriction should be according to the requirement. It should not be arbitrary. It should be just. It should be fair. So this is what it is expected. This analysis is what expected in the question. So always when you get the how, be very careful that you have to bring this aspect in your answers. Let me show you. So this part is also fine. So this is what you are giving the factual information. And this is not required. Fundamental articles under Article 19, fundamental rights under Article 19. This is not asked in the question. Why do we need the reasonable restriction? The question is on the reasonable restrictions and what are the reasonable restrictions? Okay, and how are they defined? So this is totally waste of word limit, right? So you can mention these kind of, there are different types of the reasonable restrictions under Article 25. What this guy has done, this guy or girl or whoever it is. Okay, so and then if you can bring the analysis, this can go up to 5 marks. So why I have restricted it only to 3.7? That is where. Now, what should be the introduction? Introduction should always set the base. Why do we need the reasonable restrictions on the fundamental rights? So you can say, what are the actually fundamental rights? You can link fundamental rights with the reasonable restrictions. This introduction is good. Okay, fundamental rights are mentioned in the part 3 of the Constitution. They are not absolute. There are restrictions placed on it. Okay, so that everyone gets some basic things. If rights are absolute, no one will be able to survive. Okay, so that everyone gets some basic things without being denied, there are reasonable restrictions. If that context is provided about the reasonable restriction, that falls a basic good introduction. So you should provide proper context. Like if I read the body, I should not feel introduction and body are disjointed. So I should get the free flow from the introduction towards the body. So learn properly basics of the answer writing. So I should not feel that introduction is different and the body is different. And also one more important time. Okay, you might have heard that flowchart should be important, diagram should be drawn. So for here, when the question is directly is being asked, need for the reasonable restriction, try to avoid the diagram here. You write and explain. And when you are providing the additional information or the information is lot, then use the flowcharts. Do not replace the writing part with the flowcharts or diagrams. That part you have to do not do. Diagrams is good, presentation should be important, flowchart should be good. But I have seen some of the answers, everything is being written in the diagram formats or this flowchart formats. That will not add value. Okay, so basically our purpose of adding the diagram is to make it simplified. And especially in the questions where it is the major part of the question, need for the reasonable restrictions, this is too simplification is not required. Or if you have so much of the content, write something and then the rest of the thing you can draw it in the diagram. If it is 4 or 5 points, direct straightforward thing, this way is fine. Like here it is mentioned. Even this way, maybe 5 or 6 points, if you keep it properly in the box, need for the reasonable restrictions. And if you can add little examples, okay, like even the right to privacy is not absolute. Okay, the restrictions has been placed. Okay, restrictions has been placed on the freedom of speech and expression. Like this, if you can add a little bit examples, like for suppose, okay, recently under the like even the religion, okay, the restrictions are there. Okay, no one can practice restriction religion to the extreme ends. Only when it is not violating public morality, health, these 3 things, public order, morality, and the health. Okay, when it is not being violated, then it is fine. Or else it will be restricted. You have to give the recent examples. Then your answer will become complete. That is the reason why these 2 papers are getting 3.5 marks only or 3.7 marks only. So I need recent examples. I need analysis. And this is the one aspect. Try to learn from one more answer. Okay, let me show some other answer where you can have good thing. Okay. Let me show one more answer. Hate speech has become a major concern for secular fabric and unity and integrity of India. Now, this hate speech also comes under your Article 19, right? So let's say I have something to say. I have the freedom of speech and expression on Article 19. Now, when I mention you have to finish the fundamental rights, you are not doing it from the Lakshmikant. Now, this is a part of your fundamental right issue. Reasonable restrictions is a part of fundamental right issue. Media is part of your fundamental rights issue. Okay, now see, this is the topic of the media. Where does it fall? Media comes under Article 19. So you have to study these issues of the media. You have to study hate speech. Okay, what are the issues? What are the regulation of the media? New Digital Act, IT Act 2000. What are the issues? You might have seen these things in the news. IT Rules 2021, IT Amendment Rules 2023. So what is the need for the new Digital Act? So all these are part of the Article 19. Now, when you study about the Article 21, right to, so there you can also talk about homosexuality, transgenders. Then you can also talk about Article 21 is also equal to Article right to life. Then Article 19, freedom of profession. Then under this comes under your issues of the surrogacy. And then your issue of Pregnancy Termination Act. So how far? So on these analysis can come. Do not think it is only Lakshmikant. No. Your GS2 polity and governance has social justice, current affairs linked to the constitution part. So I want you to decode and study in that way if you are studying for the mains. Complete and finish it off those topics. So if you want to understand these topics, now see here in this question, hate speech has become a major, please follow. Hate speech has become major concern for secular fabric and unity and integrity of the nation. This is the statement. In this context, examine the challenges faced in regulating the hate speech, also provide the solution. Now, this is the question. Now, if you see the mistake in this question, so the question, the answer has been provided by this person. So with the rising electronic media and the recent post, hate speech. See, introduction can be definition or anything from the current affair. So this person has started with the current affair after the defining the hate speech. So introduction is good. With the rising electronic media and the recent part, hate speeches in India have increased, which is a significant concern. So yeah, if it is a 10 marker, this much is enough. It is not necessary to define every time. Anything that passes hatred is called a hate speech. So this person want to explain this statement. Okay, always try to explain the statement given in the question. Hate speech has become a major concern. So why it is a major concern? Secular fabric is tarnished, damages the spirit of the brotherhood, threat to the public order. That's it. This much is enough, because this is not the major concern of the question. Question is examine the challenges. You have to examine the challenges faced in regulating the hate speech. Okay, so now see, I'm looking for the, as evaluator, I am looking for the exam in the challenges. So where it is the exam? No, it has not yet started. Regulation of the hate speech. This is not the question. So here I am get to find challenges in regulating the hate speech. Where is a 15 marker question? Only in one page, both of the things have been written. Content is good. Like whatever the things, the restrictions are there and all, is content is good, but weightage is not given properly. So definitely this question will get for 15 only 5 marks, because weightage has not been allotted. Though content is good, you might feel, Array, I have written about the Vishwanathan committee. Okay, Vishwanathan committee says divide properly about the hate speech, give the proper definition to the hate speech. Okay, and also incorporate under the comprehensive law. There is currently no comprehensive law. Let me show you this hate speech. Okay, this is my material. You can purchase any material, this material or any material which is available in the market. See, like this. See, under fundamental rights, see the topics: cooperatives, hate speech, media, New Digital Act, DPDP Act, right to privacy, transgender protection rights, Child Labor Act, Juvenile Justice Act, fundamental rights to religion, secularism. All those topics has to be covered. Now see, hate speech. Now, you need to know certain provisions of the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, provisions for the hate speech. Now, this is the recent current affair. I have updated my material. This part you have to do. Okay, section 196, providing the enmity between the different groups on the grounds of the religion, race, place of the birth, and doing acts are prejudicial to the maintenance of the harmony, including through electronic communication. And also, if you see section 302, uttering any words with deliberate intent to wound the religious feeling of any person. Now, this also comes under the hate speech. So, in the suggestions, you can mention, implement these sections. If any person says something, Supreme Court has said, lodge the complaint, file immediate FIR under these provisions. And also, politicians, generally, they indulge in the identity politics, especially before the elections. So, why not implement Section 153 of the Representation of the People's Act? See, Section 123. Under the Representation of the People's Act, if they try to provide, the political parties, if they try to provide the enmity, then they have to be indulged in the corrupt practices. So they cannot fight elections anymore. So, but how many times the politicians has been booked under this? So election commission has to be properly implemented. These are the suggestions. Now, and also one more important suggestion says this hate speech will be driven only when there is poverty, when there is a unemployment, or when there is a kind of mutual hatred or anger against another communities or races. So if there is no such mutual hatred or between the communities, so that will not there. So bring a kind of inter-community harmony and the peace between the group of the people. So when you bring these kind of community policing, use of technology to reduce the hatred, hate messages on these things, hate speeches will come down. So when you write this way answers, you will definitely get more than 50% of the marks. Students are asking me, how do we get more than 50%? And this is how you will get more than 50% of the marks in your answer sheet. Now, see. So as per this thing, till July 20, like I have mentioned, evolution of the powers, this local governments and all. Now see, if you see issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure. Now you need to see what all comes under the federal structure. If you see here, so governor is also under the federal structure, right? So the way bills are being passed, the money bills, all these things are coming under the federal structure. So certain things will study under the topic of the federalism. 1 minute, let me show you. What are the topics that has to be covered under this federal structure? I'm trying to show you. See, now even in the parliament, there are functions of the parliament. Now, all these are the functions of the parliament. Office of Profit, Constitution Amendment Bill, anti-defection, ways in which parliament hold the government accountable, key functions of the parliament in India. And then when you go to the federalism, see, what are the features of the federalism? Modes of the federalism. You have to study this thing. Evolution of the federalism in the India. Centralizing features in the federalism. Okay, these are the things that are generally present in your Lakshmikant. How the center holds the administrative powers of the state. Then how the center controls the state lawmaking powers. These are the general static questions that are present in the Lakshmikant. But these are not there. Issues of federalism in India. Okay, what kind of ways in which the government or various organs of the state are facing the issues. Like recently, you might have heard, okay, various things generally that are present in the state list, they are being shifted to the congruent list or the central list, where center can make a law. Okay, or recently after GST, state have lost its financial making powers. That is also another concern, how, where, in which financial control is being happen. I'll show you one question as asked by one of the test series and sent to me by one of the student. Now in this question, if you see, cooperative federalism in India is more of a rhetoric than the reality. Discuss this statement with reference to the recent central policies affecting the state autonomy. Now in this question, you have to bring what are those recently central policies which is making state feel that cooperative federalism is just face wash. It is not reality. It is rhetoric. It is a kind of illusion. It is not reality. But in this question, will you write only yes, it is a rhetoric, there is no such kind of cooperative federalism, nothing is there? No, that is also not true, right? Center is nowhere imposing. Now, if you see, after 14th and 15th Finance Commission, the funds that are being devolved to the state governments have been increased from 30% to 41%. Earlier, there were more tied grants. So whatever the money that center used to give to the state government, center used to put conditionalities. Now that has been changed. Niti Aayog, the amount of conditions imposed by the Niti Aayog is less than the Planning Commission. Planning Commission used to impose much more things. So you have to present both sides of the picture. Then you will get more marks. For this question, you will be able to get 6 to 6.5 marks if you are able to give all that content. So you have to go beyond Lakshmikant and you have to study. Study the polity Lakshmikant, and it is not the only GS content, sufficient content for your governance aspect, polity and governance aspect. So you have to cover all those aspects. That is what I'm trying to say. So you have to cover all these things, how things have been now changed, how the economic policies, like new education policy was introduced, and what the Tamil Nadu has said. Tamil Nadu government said, okay, we are opposing this 3-language formula. You have not discussed us. Now, even recently, like farm laws that was passed. So agriculture is a state subject, but the government says trade is in the concurrent list. So based on that agriculture trade, we can pass it down like this. But the state government says, okay, you have not consulted us. Now, recently, coalition politics has come. So what are the this coalition politics? How far coalition politics are good, and how far this coalition politics cause problems in India? So all these things you have to incorporate in your answer to make your answer look good. Okay. So this is how you have to cover content. Now, in the next, this is how the mentorship will keep on going. So in the next till here, it is still, I believe most of you guys have not finished these functions and responsibilities of union and state, issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure. Study them. It's not necessary to study from any one material, or properly pick up any material that is available in the market. But don't restrict yourself to only Lakshmikant. Properly prepare from those things. And then when you go to this separation of the powers between various organs, dispute redressal mechanism. What are the dispute redressal mechanisms? Are there? Judiciary is there, Supreme Court is there, alternative dispute resolution mechanisms are there. Okay, you have lok adalats, fast track courts are there. You have to study all those things. Comparison of the Indian constitution with that of other countries. You don't have to compare every constitution, but majorly which are things on the news: France, Russia, USA, UK, and also important bodies like a speaker, Like recently, president elections are happening, USA president elections. Like recently, elections were also conducted in the France. So you need to compare the election system. There is a semi-presidential election, semi-presidential mode system in the France. But in the India, parliamentary form of government is there. In the UK also elections has been conducted. So you can compare the constitutions of the UK and the India. So pick up some important major countries and compare the constitutions of the India and with those countries. So you have to cover all these topics holistically. And your target is to finish off completely polity aspect by the end of this month. And then still you have to cover the NGO, civil societies, various tribunals, quasi-judicial bodies, regulatory bodies, all these things till August 15th. E-governance, self-help groups, problems related to health, hunger, education, food security act, MGNRG act, all these things has to be covered till the August 15th. If you can do this thing, then you can say your GS2 topic is completely covered. And this is the only time that you have to do these things. So study properly with the schedule, cover using the materials, and write answers and get it evaluated. That's all that you have to do things. And even in the, I'm not neglecting anything in the free things also, where questions are being posted, MCQs are being posted, and synopsis is being posted regularly. If you guys just follow, then it will also give me motivation that, okay, let's do the things consistently because students are following. Okay, so that will be taken care. So this is what the for the next week target, and a little bit analysis about the answer writing. So I wanted to provide more insights about the answer writing. I have done. Then any other doubts you guys have, you can ask. So any doubts you guys have?
Hello, sir.
Please go ahead.
Sir, I am from Tamil Nadu, sir. Writing my example, I come from mine related to my local incident, sir. Whether evaluator know or unknown, sir. Local incidents examples.
You can add, that would be a very good case study. If you can add this local example, that would be a very good thing to do. Okay. So when you are writing an exam, Tamil Nadu is part of India, so definitely you have to bring, so that can be a good case study. You have to bring the examples, bring them.
Okay.
It is always good.
So
when you are writing these papers, use the examples of your states. So whatever the things that you study for your state exams, okay, if you are also writing for your state exams, you use the examples that you study from the India related things in your state and state related things in your India related issues. So all these things has to be used.
Brainstorm is very tough for me, sir. Any ideas?
We'll be doing, we'll do that, Shahjahan Khan. What? Sure.
Brainstorming, sir.
Brainstorming is the most important aspect. Okay, that you have to do. It will not come a day, in one day. Okay, so you have to sit and brainstorm. Only when you brainstorm. Okay, now let's say I have asked the question on the evolution of the basic structure, but question may not ask in that way. So they will ask significance of the basic structure, or how far it is able to limit the powers of the government. So basic structure is giving only one part, how the constitution amendment amending powers of the government is being limited. So other things are how judiciary is autonomous, how strong is judiciary, how opposition is stronger, how far parliamentary procedures are strong. All these things ensure that government is accountable, working as per the rule of law and supporting the people. That's how it works. So you have to brainstorm. Only then you will be able to generate more points. Don't think that by reading one book, one material, I will get all the content. No, it will not work. So you have to do the brainstorm. All the toppers, if you see, okay, all those toppers, they will study less, brainstorm more. Only one or two sources study, generate more points. That's how you will get the results. Practice it. Mains is not this September, right? So you have next year. So till then, you get stronger.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, any other question, any other doubt? Any other question?
Sir, is there compulsory in mention Article 1A, 1 class B?